Hey, what's up, fam? Alright, so chapter 3 of the Fairy Tale 100 Years quest. I'm pretty excited about this. I've really liked where we started off, where we're going. I'd say I like it already more than Eden Zero. Sorry, Eden Zero. I really like Eden Zero as well, but obviously I'm a big Fairy Tale fan, so this is pretty, thick and heavy for me. Alright, so let's kind of get to where we're going. It starts out pretty funny. We got these kind of like little humanoid jellyfish kind of walking around. Not so happy or kind of appalled by him, but they end up attacking and trying to like enter Lucy's body. One like jumps into her mouth, one jumps into Natsu's mouth, and I actually laughed at this part. I thought it was pretty humorous. Not the start, but kind of how it ended. Wendy blowing him away with the little roar again in the sky, but it was what made me laugh is this one. It's just Natsu just ate the jellyfish thing. He just said fuck it and took it in. I like the pig with the antlers. I actually really liked that. Looking at that thing, it just looks interesting to me. I think he should have just done a reference and put like Hawk from Seven Deadly Sins in the background with some horns on one of these big things, just as like a little nod to that series since they were in the same magazine. But that would have been fun. But whatever, not a big deal. And I gotta say though, one thing I'll say real quick is the guy who's doing this, I keep forgetting his name, Atsuo Ueda. I don't know how to pronounce it. You could tell his art is getting better and closer to Hiro Mishima's already by this third issue. But to kind of talk over the whole thing about the quest for taking out the five god dragons, the dragon gods, and how Urza informs Elsaria that Natsu is the one to defeat Acnologia, but that's both reassuring but also troubling for him because he believes that if they aren't able to complete it, then nobody's going to be able to complete it in the world, because that kind of puts Natsu as that kind of puts him as the top, but not really, since it was very situational. I mean, you had like sevenfold Unison Raid combined Dragon Force on a guy who was drastically weakened by motion sickness and a continent's worth of magic pushed into a fairy sphere to hold him there, and the fact he only had one arm, so he couldn't block it. He didn't have the time to block it. He was too preoccupied and forgetful of kind of the fact he's 400 plus years old, and he's been only a year since he lost his arm. Probably not used to it. So it's like I said, it's in a way it'd be like, okay, cool, these guys, even if they aren't at their strongest, which we don't know how strong they've gotten a year. They haven't had any battles yet so far on this. The fact that they're able to together push to that is pretty helpful. I think the five of them, like if they all put their power into Natsu, the fact they have Urza and Gray and Lucy as Wendy is there as well, they could equal up to the missing Dragon Slayers. Honestly, like Urza is, honestly, I think she's stronger than Laxus at this point, but whatever, not a big deal right now. Anyway, and they reveal how the five god dragons weren't involved in the Dragon Civil War at all. They had nothing to do, did the Dragon King Festival. They're kind of like all separate, kind of doing their own thing, which, like I've said before, like people have been complaining about like, how does this make sense given what we know? Like, well, we don't know yet. Clearly, as I said, these guys weren't involved. They didn't have anything to do with this. You just had to wait until chapter 3, which was only 1 week after the drop, since we got 2 last week, to say like, oh, here's why these guys weren't like known and involved with the war. This is why they aren't dead. They did their own thing. They're kind of like their own dragon bosses that kind of keep to themselves, don't really bother with a lot of things. But it says that they would only really come out if something very important, very crucial happens. But if they go to war, the Earth will like break apart, and it'll pretty much be Armageddon, which is pretty cool. And something also that kind of got really interesting. We'll get to that in a second. The first one from people like the translation that I read first, it's Mersfovia. I don't think that's it. It just doesn't sound right. Somebody online translated it, and it made more sense because it's like, it means like, or Mercuphobia from like I don't know how to pronounce that, Mercerius or something, which is derived from Mercury and means water planet, which obviously that would make sense for being a water dragon god, But either way, I'm gonna call him. What do they call him? Mercuphobia. I don't know how to pronounce that. I'm just gonna call him Merc for now, for right now, until we get a better one. Or actually, no, fuck it. I'll just go with whatever it's stated as. Mercephobia. It's Mercephobia. There we go. I'll pronounce it that way. And anyway, how I got sidetracked trying to figure out names. They're traveling to a town in the southern region of the continent of Giltina, because the town that they're going to, the city, used to worship this dragon as its god, and it's the best place to get a lead. And then this is what I was talking about, was something that would be pretty interesting, is they get to the reward, and it's a wish. Now I'm wondering if Elfsaria is like, whatever you guys want, I'll get it for you, or if it's literally like here's a wish granted. Like he's a dragon, apparently a law dragon, but I guess if it was a wish, it would probably have limited rules to it, and obviously magic in their world has very specific, so you'd be able to kind of fuck with stuff to a degree, even if it's people are like, well then why doesn't he wish them away? Well, you could have something like kind of like, for instance, Arc of Embodiment that Rusty Rose had, where he could literally just... We didn't get the rules for it, but we know there are a lot of rules where he could just manifest things into reality. Like, we already know that even with the really powerful broken magics, they all have restrictions and stuff to them. So that's probably what would be like that. Or, obviously, a easy wish-granting dragon with rules would be something like Shenron, where it's like, well, you can't do these specific things, but anything within my power I can do, But anyway, I also thought it was funny that Happy's like, if we get it, you can wish for enough rent for your whole life, instead of just a house. Gray wanting a cat like Frosh, which is pretty hilarious. Wendy wanting to get tits was pretty funny. I don't know why Gray just doesn't go find a cat. Or an animal for him, since he's a demon slayer. What would be the demon slaying animal? Someone drop a comment within this of what you think the animal, like talking animal equivalent for a demon slayer, instead of like flying, what their perk would be. Actually, they could make, what I want them to do, I'm just going to say what I want right now, is to make if anyone's read at the Happy side story, take that rabbit within it and give her to Gray. Gray can be Gray's like animal companion. Come on, you have the power, Mishima, do it. Anyway, they got Gadgil and Panther Lily looking like true detectives, getting ready to look into Briar. I have suspicion for her, and that kind of goes very briefly, but obviously Levy is a little bit nervous whether or not what they're doing is right, because suspecting of a guild member, she doesn't seem too keen on it. And then we get the guy, and I was curious about this. I said this in the spoiler video. I was wondering if he was a dragon or a dragon slayer. But the woman that's with this guy, that obviously, it's not just the horns. Like, the horns would obviously be fake, but if you look at his eye, he's definitely got the slit, like, dragon eye. And that was the tell that I definitely believe he was either dragon or dragon slayer. And this now makes me wonder whether or not these are, like, I don't know. I've started thinking, like, maybe he's a kind of servant of the dragon god, but she calls him Lord Water God. Well, I guess she doesn't call him Dragon God. I don't know. Either way, that's the thing that makes me kind of not instantly assume this is the guy, even though he probably is that he doesn't have the same horn design that we saw with the dragon, and that we aren't confirmed whether or not these are born dragons or dragon slayers that became dragons. I don't know how they would really be non-related to the war and get dragon slaying magic, since we know it got invented during that time. I don't know, we'll have to wait and see. There's obviously stuff that'll be revealed. It's clear that they thought ahead and planned out, like, well, how could this make sense given what we know and what's happened in the story. It's like, okay, here's how. And we got some now. We'll probably find out some more soon. Okay, so there's the chapter itself. I just want to talk about what I want to happen right now. Please, I want something like when we got with Brandish, when Brandish kind of like casually fucked with that island. I want to see that with this dragon, just as a kind of welcoming thing. before we eventually see whatever his crew is, because I'm expecting all of them to have their own crew. He's got at least one person. I'm hoping he has his own crew. Which, obviously my other thing for this dragon guy is if he's not the dragon, if they're maybe talking to him and they're not referring to this guy, is that he's like maybe the right-hand man. For right now, I'm just going to assume he's the dragon, because he's, I don't know, he's got the eye, he's got this cool tattoo, he's the Bishie, new Bishie guy, he's got horns. For right now, let's just assume he is a dragon, but not 100% confirmed for sure. Just probably like 90%. I want to see, when we get to this dragon, this water dragon god, just him instantly do like massive tsunamis and maelstroms, like controlling the water from like fucking here to Ishgal, just like endless horizons of ocean water completely under his control. You know, creating these huge torrents, showing how powerful he really is, and how just like the little sneak peek at that, and you know, the little taste test of how powerful these beings are. I think it'd be really cool. Plus, it would show that since they're unequal to Acnologia, anything they do also means that he's just as powerful, which is good. You know, I don't want to go on a tangent of like power level stuff, other than I want to see something really cool and badass that just shows like how immense they are. But otherwise, yeah, but they're getting really into this already. Even though we're only 3 chapters in and we only have a little bit, it's definitely still at that point where it's like, man, I want to get more because I'm so intrigued. I like these new characters already. They look cool. I like the setting. Yeah, I'm really I'm gonna make my moth a little bit bigger as I'm closing up. I'm interested in this. I hope everyone else is interested in it too. Like, whew, this is getting good. This is getting good already. But otherwise, yeah. Tell me what you think about this chapter. Drop some comments below. Hopefully, maybe give you a thumbs up or like on this video. Maybe check out my other videos. I do mostly manga and some comics that I think manga fans will like. And most of the manga stuff I do is Fairy Tail Eden Zero and Black Clover related. Most of it. I still do like normal chapter reviews and some other stuff. Maybe a video and a response towards something if I have a particular opinion. I'm gonna start trying to do live streams at the end of the week once, probably around the time the like weekly Shonen Jump chapters all get finished, because you know we start the week with Weekly Shonen Magazine, and then we move on to like Weekly Shonen Jump, and then we'll get stuff from like Shonen Sunday and like monthlies and stuff all mixed in there. But sometime at the end of the week, just to kind of have a discussion of, you know, all the stuff that happened, new manga chapters, you know, big plot twists, character deaths, new characters, reveals. Apparently, okay, I don't want to say it in this one because it'd be a spoiler. It's just something else. Anyway, yeah, anything really cool, or new characters to Jump Force, something like that. You know, anything manga or anime or comics related. You know, just new stuff to really kind of go over. My first live stream was yesterday. If you want to just put it on and listen to it while we do stuff or whatever you're doing, it seemed a pretty good turnout. I'm gonna try again soon. I might do one more before I get to that Friday. I might do one tonight if anyone's interested. But otherwise, yeah, thank you very much. Maybe check out my other videos. If you have any friends that really like Fairy Tail, Eden Zero, Black Clover, any of the content I do that you think they might like, maybe give a little nudge my way. I try to be very honest with my reviews. I try not to do stuff just for views or subs. I don't like the idea of people doing that. But anyways, thank you very much. Bye.